Welcome, everybody. We'll just get started in a little bit. But while you're waiting, I can play some music. So I'm just going to play while you're waiting. Make yourself comfy. Get a glass of water or tea or coffee or whatever you want to drink. Keep ourselves hydrated. Away, Welcome if you're just joining. I'm just jamming. We're not starting yet. We'll just wait a little bit longer and then we'll get started. So make yourself at home. Have a glass of water. Touch grass, maybe that too. Welcome if you've just joined. I'm just jamming. We'll get started shortly. Just have a few more people. We'll just see. We'll get started in just a minute. Make sure you have a glass of water or something to hydrate yourself with. Oh, if you have a drum or shaker, feel free to bring it. You can jam along with me. And we'll do a little bit of that later. There we go. Welcome. I'm just going to turn this off. Here we go. Good to see all of you. I am Brenda MacIntyre. It's my English name, but I'll introduce myself traditionally in a moment. Welcome to Find Your Voice in Business. Tansei maskiknikmo squeo nisigasan kalgar uchenia. So I'm just saying in Cree, I'm saying greetings, and that I am a medicine songwoman and that I was born in Calgary. So I have settler ancestry through both biological parents and Cree and Ojibwe ancestry with Red River and Laklabish roots through my biological father. I was adopted at birth, so I did not grow up with my culture and I had to learn it from my 30s, and I'm still kind of finding my way with that. Speaking of finding your voice, my father was a Tremblay, his mother was a Swain, and we have various other Métis family names going all the way back down the line, back to Ojibwe at some point. um, yeah, and I want to say I am grateful to be joining you from these beautiful, very sunny and also very smoky lands of so-called London, Ontario. It is the lands of the Mississaugas, the Anishinaabeg, and the Attawandaron peoples. And I'm just really grateful to be here. And with this song that I'm going to share, I'll be welcoming all of them here as well, the ancestors that are in the land, all the ancestors that come with you and come with me. I will be in, when I do a welcome song, that's what that is for. So if you would like to put your own land acknowledgement, if you would like to put where you're joining us from in the chat, you go ahead and please do that. And there's some resources for you to do that if you're not sure how. I've just dropped that in the chat. Yeah. So this event, I'm grateful to be hosted by the Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce. Proud to be a member, the first and only Chamber of Commerce in Canada dedicated to diverse women identified and non-binary business owners. Is that like not so amazing? Right? And so CanWCC advocates for its members' needs with the government, leveraging its position and title as a chamber to engage with key decision makers who drive change. And also, CanWCC exists to improve the quality of life for over 1 million entrepreneurial women in Canada through policy advocacy and aiming to build a healthier and more inclusive economy. So, and this organization amplifies the voices and stories of diverse women and non-binary entrepreneurs like me and like any of you who are members or want to be. And while fighting for their economic equity. And I just that's like amazing to me that we have this. And I've heard this over and over in the posts and social media as well, like with this group, and it's true. It's pretty hard to come by just an all-women Chamber of Commerce. That's pretty awesome. So make sure you have a glass of water. I was saying that earlier, but for anyone who may have just joined, just because we're going to be using our voices, right? It's about finding your voice. I'm not a person who's going to like blah, blah, and that's all there is, okay? We're going to do stuff. We're going to use our voices, yeah. So, so make sure you have something to hydrate yourself, and you'll see me drinking tea, I've got coconut water, and I've got my medicine tea with rose petals and sweetgrass and stuff. And that's how I stay hydrated, and it helps my lungs and my throat. And it's wonderful to see all this land acknowledgements. Thank you for that. Miigwech. Yeah, so we're going to be doing some interactive stuff, and the first we're gonna dive literally right in, like into the biggest, if you take nothing else away from this, this is it right here, the welcome song and the teachings that go with it. So the teachings that go with this welcome song and the story of it, this song came to me from when I was going through an incredible, like worst trauma and grief in my life in 2016. And when I was going through that, I decided to make an album to get myself through it and to help other people through similar things, grief and trauma. And so I made an album called Picking Up the Pieces. And when I believe this was the last song that came, and it's called Breath of Life. And this song came to remind me to breathe, because I was at a powwow in Toronto. At the time I was living there for like 42 years or something. I was living there. But this person, a friend of mine said, oh, you got to go talk to this guy. So I went and go to talk to this guy. And sure enough, it was because I needed to talk to him. And he had gone through a similar experience, and and his name was Ken Pitawanaquit. And so what he did when I went up to him was he said, breathe. And he put his hand up like this to my chest. He said, breathe, you're not breathing. And I didn't know I wasn't breathing. And I mean, I was standing up on the floor getting ready to go and dance. Like, I kind of need to breathe to do that. But I wasn't. And I didn't know that grief and trauma can dysregulate your breathing and a lot of other things in your nervous system. Some of those I did know, but I didn't know about the breathing. And so I started from that moment on. He taught me I need to remind myself to breathe. And now that I have a long COVID, actually, my body forgets to breathe sometimes. Kind of creepy. But because I've been doing all of this training, it remembers, or I remember, I'm like, hello, we're going to breathe now. Because I'll just be tight and shallow breathing, or just barely breathing, or sometimes not breathing at all. And so for the last several years, since 2016, I've been doing different kinds of breath work. I have my own breath work as well, my own practices. But what I'm going to teach you is some of that. And the first one is super easy, and it's step 0 to all of this, to finding your voice. Step 0. And this little easy thing that we all have done all our lives, but we just forget and don't know maybe how powerful it is going to serve you in all kinds of ways. It will help you to get out of what I call anxiety land, which is all the stuff going on, all the nonsense up there. I'm not good enough. I don't know what do I say? Or stage fright and all those things, right? Lack of confidence. Maybe it's just with this particular person or circumstance where it's like, oh no, you have to talk to them and or speak on stage or whatever it is. But when you do this one little practice, honestly, it's going to blow your mind how easy it is, and it's also going to blow your mind once you start to use it, how powerful it can be. That all we need to do is a belly breath. That's it. Just a belly breath. And I want you to do that at your own pace. I like to say, let your body lead you, because your body and mine are different. And, you might be able to breathe really deeply and someone else may not, without coughing or something. So just honor your body and breathe a little slower, a little deeper into your belly. I'm going to also say, don't skip the heart and lungs on the way down. We want to reach that first, and then all the way back up, we want to reach that too. And we'll be doing a bit deeper version of this later. But this is step 0, is breathing into your belly. Because what does that do? It gets you out of anxiety land immediately. And I just heard a great quote, and I didn't write it down. But it has something to do with this. It was something to do with the Western way of doing things. We're all up in our heads anyways. It's about being in so much thought that we are not feeling. But if we're in our bodies, then we can feel. And I don't just mean emotion. You'll also feel your intuition. You'll feel your body's truths coming out to tell you what you need to do, what you need to say, who you need to talk to, all of it. And so it also will help you to get through, if you have grief, trauma. I think we all do at this point with all this stuff going on politically and everything else. Never mind being business owners or starting a business. But if you breathe into your belly and just remind yourself to do that when you find yourself spiraling or you find yourself having a hard time, if you know what that is that happens first, that tells you that where you're like, uh-oh, I better breathe, then you're going to use that as a trigger, and you can start to remember, oh, I'm doing that thing again. I need to breathe. Right? So we need our bodies. We need to be in contact with our bodies. That's another way of finding our voice, is listening to our bodies too, letting our bodies be part of our voice. So didn't know I was going to say all that, but anyways, some of it. But it'll help you to be more grounded. It will help you to know what to say in the moment. If you don't know what to say, your voice is going to be stronger. It'll be more powerful and more full of you. More full of you, instead of full of what you think you should say, right? Yeah, so we're gonna just do belly breathing, and here's the thing, like you don't need to, because you're gonna hear me go to get a big breath to sing, because I'm singing. Um, but when you hear me do that, just breathe at your own at your body's pace, right, into your belly. And while you're doing that, what's your intention? Think about, like, what did you come here for today, and add that in. Add that in, and breathe that in, and breathe that out into the circle. And while you do that, I'm going to be singing this song that is called Breath of Life, that reminds us literally of our breath of life. And me sitting here with like wildfire smoke everywhere, probably a lot of us have that at this point. You know, there's a lot going on, and this is how we get grounded and centered very easily without anyone having to know you're doing anything, by the way. If you're like, you know, about to step on stage, if you are in the middle of an important conversation and you can't leave, you can just do this breath and it will help. Yeah. All right. So breath of life, and welcome song is always to welcome everyone here, to come in with gratitude, and to also acknowledge all of our ancestors who are here with us and supporting us ever since 7 generations before now. So just breathing into your belly. You use my breath as a reminder. Ha, ha, we, ha, ya, hey, ya, ha, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, way ya, ya, way ya, ha. Ha, we, ha, ya, hey, ya, ha, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, we, ya, hey, ya, we, ya, hey, ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, ya way ya, ha, way ya, hey ya, ha ya. Way ya, way ya, way ya, way ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, Yahweh, way ya, ha, way ha, ya, hey ya, ha ya, way ya, way ya, way ya, way ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, hey ya, oh way ya, hey ya, way ya, Yahweh, way ya. So now just breathing into your belly. Give yourself a few nice, slow, deep, as full as your body wants and can handle breaths. Just breathing in, through, and out of you. Yeah. And just feeling too, like what you're coming in here with, just noticing what you're coming here with. You might have some physical sensations, you might have some emotions, and you might have some thoughts still too. All of it is good. Just to notice. It's just noticing. It's not judging, it's just noticing. So no matter what, this is your starting point. This is step 0, is just breathing into your belly. How do you feel? Like, just tell me how you feel after that in the chat. I mean, I know I sang and everything else, and you're not going to have me singing there every time you breathe, but it's still, yeah. Emotional, yeah. And here's the thing too, because the drum and our voices in all our cultures, except for New Zealand, traditionally they didn't have animals to make skin into drums, and that's the only reason why not. But they have other rhythmic instruments. But we all know this, and it's connecting with that heartbeat that we have and that Mother Earth has. But it connects us to our emotions. It connects us to who we are. It connects us to our soul, right? And so when we do this, when you hear this drumming and singing, that's why a lot of people will cry when they hear that. The other reason is because there's stuff that's coming up to come out. And when I do this, I'm doing this because this is your throat center. That's your truth center. That's where you speak your truth from. But really, it starts in your belly. If you're really speaking your truth, it has to come from your belly. Because if it's coming from up here, it's going to be, there's a lot of nerves, a lot of I don't know what to say, and it won't come out the way that you intended. But it will if you just take a belly breath. Simple. Yeah. So please remember and practice that, but you'll have chances to practice it later too. So I'll share like a deeper version of that using what I call your VPS to feel more confident and connect with your purpose and fill your voice up with that power, right? And your spirit. And we'll do a little bit of an easy vocal warm-up as part of that. But for those of you who don't know me, I'll share a little bit about myself and my work. First of all, my voice is my biggest gift, and kind of voice and spirit are my 2 first languages, and that carries through all of my work. So my voice is my biggest gift. I've been a singer for, all my life, and I knew I was going to be a singer from the age of 11. I also had spiritual visions from the age of 7, so I've been very connected to the land and my spirit all my life, and singing since 11. Professionally, though, since 17. Got on stage the first time then. And so I've lived through a lot of different kinds of finding your voice. I'm an introvert still, but kind of more an ambivert now, I think, but probably because of being an entrepreneur, because it does that to you, right? There's times when you don't want to really speak up or say anything, and you have to. And so that happened, but also just I live with multiple disabilities. I've always had chronic pain, and now I have long COVID, so like I said, I'm finding my voice with that, and I have to actually watch things and how I'm doing things differently. It's different now. Honoring my body, right? Like I was talking about. So watching your body's signs and listening, right? And I've had to develop my voice in so many ways that I developed a whole body of work about it in 2006, and then kind of evolved it afterwards when we had all these online, magical, lovely digital tools and stuff. So I've been teaching women to find their voice since then. Really since 1999, though, because I was doing my Sing Yourself Alive circles since then. And it's because of, having to find my own voice, because in our traditions, it's just that way. If you have a gift, you share it. That's what you do. If you have a thing that you're doing all your life, then you're learning things about that, right? And I was doing a lot of field research, and my cousin, my daughter's auntie was doing some some research of her own for her thesis, and I think it won an award and everything. And it was about the power, the healing power of Aboriginal women's hand drumming, actually. And so we were finding all these similarities in our own studying, and talking to each other about it. And I've learned a lot since then too, which is especially that important piece that, grief and trauma are really what's in the way. People tell me all the time they can't sing. Yes, you can. If you don't have vocal cords that work, then you can't sing. Sure. But otherwise, if you have a voice, you can. It's just these are the things that are in the way. It's grief and trauma. So so thank you for all that in the chat. I'm seeing emotional, peaceful, reconnected. I'm feeling centered. Thank you. And could listen to you all day. Well, cool. I have events going on too, so you can always come to my other events, but very calm, grounded. Felt the drumming in my body. Yeah. Wonderful. So it's National Indigenous History Month, by the way, June. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to hear drum and voice and connect with those teachings. Actually, I have something coming up too. It's not on my website yet, though, but it will be soon. I have a summer solstice event of my own, but that's on my website. But I have another one I'm doing on the 20th as well. So I had extreme social anxiety growing up. You'd never know it now, but I did. I could not talk to anyone. And if you would have told me I'd be speaking and singing in front of hundreds to thousands of people later on, I don't think so. But that's been my life, and it's been my enjoyment. It kind of sucks now that I have to stay home because of long COVID, for now anyways. We'll see what happens, but I've had a lot of fun on the stage since getting up there when I was 17, and that took a lot of courage. And I was terrified to do it, but I did it. And I did it because I had support through friends, and because I just trusted myself and my spirit to manage it. And it was also kind of, having community around me in a way, musical friends. And so one thing I've noticed, besides what I said, is the drum and voice can really help us with our nervous system regulation, right? And breathing can do that. One thing that happened that I always love to share, because this can happen for anyone, is we used to do drumming circles at the Native Center, and when I say we, I invited a partner to come with me when I was invited to do it. And we did these circles. I think we were doing them monthly. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But one circle, this woman had come all the time. She used to come every time, and then she wouldn't sing. She would sit quietly and very carefully place her drum on her lap and sit and listen. And this one day she came, and she belted out her voice, and she took the lead, which is, in our circles, everyone gets a chance to take the lead. So I'm not going to do that to you here. Don't worry. It's Zoom. It's weird. But in a live circle, I would pass it over to whoever's next, and you could choose to pass, or you could choose to sing that first line. So it can be scary, right? Because you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position when maybe you don't know the song. And even me, singing all these years, I've been in that position before in circle where I don't know the song. I'm like, I don't know, but I don't pass. I'll just try whatever. But it's sometimes you just don't have your voice to bring it out. And this person clearly had been through some trauma. And when she let her voice out like that, what happened was she did what I call sing yourself alive. She let her voice and her spirit and her power, all of that came out for all of us to hear. And I'm telling you, every single person in the circle was like, what? Was like, where did that come from? Because her voice was huge, and she was just this quiet little person, right? But that's what happens. When we bring out all of us in our voice, but also that was expelling what was in the way. That was getting rid of that block. all that stuff that was in the way. And so it was coming up and out from her belly all the way up through her heart and through, her throat center. And that's the kind of breathing that I want to take you through. So I'll put this in the chat for you, and I'm going to ask you a question. And it's also just something to think about for yourself. For this workshop and for if you want to ask questions afterwards, because I'll be taking lots of them. So what seems to get in the way of you fully expressing yourself in and through your business? Like sales, networking, whatever it is. And, it could also just be, it could be anything. Anything to do with finding your voice, whatever you're bringing here that you want to get rid of or improve, what is that for you? And you can tell us in the chat, or you can, maybe that'll be a question later that you can ask, whatever it is. So I wanna talk a little bit about, well, I'll just keep going here because I want to allow you to have the floor for for half of this at least, probably. So we're gonna warm up our voices and our bodies actually too, and just by humming. You don't have to do anything with your body except just hum. It's going to warm up all of you. So when we're talking from our belly, our body, our spirit, when we're talking with our voice, our power and spirit, and let me I'll define that a little bit too. So for me, what I'm talking about when I say that is your voice, of course, is coming from your truth center here. Your spirit, according to a Cree elder I learned from, is basically where your belly button is, inside there. And so it's kind of part of your solar plexus in a way, but also part of your womb. So it's your full belly there. And when you breathe down into there, your solar plexus is your power center, right? That digestive, that's why we get butterflies in your stomach, right? So when you want to feel that power and bring it up, then you got to breathe down there. You got to breathe down into your belly and then bring that power up. Bring it up into your heart center and feel it there, and then bring it up, out through your throat. And so what we do is this 3-part breath, and there's some more depth to it that I won't get into, but we'll do this sort of the first step to it. So breathing into your belly, you already got that piece. But when you're doing it, and you're probably already naturally this is happening, but you don't really you're not doing it consciously. And then there's a 3-way thing that I'm going to teach you, and you can do it or not. It's a little deeper, but you connect. And when I'm talking about connecting, so you may be talking to somebody, right? Maybe you're pitching your thing in front of a bunch of people. Maybe you're, I don't know, having an interview, or figuring out your pricing, whatever it is. But when you connect, you're connecting, you're making a 3-way connection. So with that breath, it's like this triangle of connection here that happens between you and your spirit and whoever you're talking to. Okay? It's between you and your spirit and whoever you're talking to. And if there's nobody there, then you're with yourself. Then that's just all for you. So you're breathing, you're connecting, and that's what it's going to be actually when we do this warm up, because when you hum, that's all for you. You're closing your mouth. Most of the vibration's going into you, right? When we're talking, when we're singing, then that's going out there more, and it's really more for everyone else, but it's also still for you. So this three-way connection is just an intentional connection. So when you're breathing in, while you're just sitting here, even just whatever kind of breath you're breathing, see if you can connect to that essence that you are, that you know yourself to be, or even maybe you don't know some parts. And just see if you can connect by breathing. And even connect to your heart in that process, because we're going to be bringing it up through the heart too, right? And then, so breathe is the first one. Breathe into your belly and then connect. While you're connecting, we're going to be kind of, and connecting to, I'm doing this because it's connecting to really all it is, right? Connecting to connection to life itself, because that's what you're doing too. But when you're breathing and then you connect with you, all of you, your spirit, your heart, and then you connect, what happens is when you're talking to a person, when you're presenting, when you're doing your pricing, your marketing, all those things, you're gonna be coming from that place of connection instead of coming from that place of blah 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 up here telling you how not good enough you are, right? Completely different situation. And if you can sit with, I don't know what I'm going to say, instead of going up here to try and figure it out, sit with it and let it come out from your body what you want to say. And try that. So for this warm up, what I want to do, we'll just do humming. And I'll tell you why this is important. It's incredible what humming and vocal toning, which is basically just humming one note, can do for you. Because it can tune your body, mind, and spirit. It can warm you up, warm up your whole body, your whole being, and bring your power up into your voice. And it can also tune up, because it's tuning your whole body, it's tuning up your throat chakra too. And that's all about self-expression, right? And just really connecting with your gifts, because if you're connecting with who you are, you're connecting with your gifts. And then your gifts are going to come out through your voice as well. So sales calls, networking, even online marketing, your energy is going to shift from just this, from voice, power, spirit, VPS, instead of GPS, right? VPS. Pardon me. And the humming, like I said, is all for you. Whoops, I have my fan going on. And hopefully I didn't hear the extra breath on the mic from the fan. But anyways, I'm going to look in the chat too in a moment, but I'm going to, and you keep going with the chat. It's all good. And I'll check in there in a bit, because I'm going to address some of the things I see in there too, probably, or you can ask me some questions. But let's just hum. Let's just hum. So we're going to remember first, your step 0 is breathe into your belly and then connect. But when you breathe in, what we're going to do is, when we breathe all the way into whatever your body can handle, again, I'm really stressing that. When we do that, then at the top of the breath is when you're going to make that real connection, intentional connection. Just, I'm connecting with all those things, with all of you and with whoever it is. And we can connect with each other in the circle energetically if we want to do that. So just do that. We'll start there. So let's take a belly breath together. We'll just take a belly breath at whatever pace still and depth you can. Pause in the middle of that breath and just connect with yourself, with the greater all that is, your ancestors. Bring that into your body and let it out. And then just breathe normally for a moment. And then we'll do it again. These are just the 2 steps. So breathing into your belly. And then pausing to connect. Make that connection, maybe even touching where your heart and your spirit and your throat are, your ancestors. And then let it out when you need to. And then just one more time, we'll breathe into your belly, connect, and flow that connection all the way through you, through the circle, and then let go when you need to, and let it out. And then just breathe normally, maybe shake it out a little bit, just a little movement. And we're going to add step 3, which is sound your voice. And in this case, we're going to use humming, toning. So it might be like an ohm that you do, might be like that, or it could be just silly song. It could be any sound, but it wants to be humming. So your lips are going to be closed. So this is for you and your body and your being. So we'll breathe into our bellies in a moment. Just maybe take another regular breath for now. Okay, so we're going to breathe into our bellies again. Connecting to you, to your ancestors, to your power, your spirit. And then sound your voice with whatever, whatever it is. It can be anything. I'm going to do another one in a moment, but it'll give us time to kind of integrate that too. So we'll just breathe. We'll do one more of those. We'll do two more of those. So we'll just breathing into your belly again. Pausing there to connect with all that is, with all that you are, and with the circle. And then letting it out as you need to. We'll do one more. Pausing when you need to, at your own pace. Go easy on yourself. Just connecting and letting it out as you need to, with the sound, whatever that sound is. So the coolest thing happened. I wasn't sure if I would share this, and I just feel like I want to share it. So it's a really cool thing. My daughter has spiritual gifts too, and she can see aura, and I didn't know this yet. So when she was 7 or something, can't remember how old she was, but her and her little friend they were playing at my computer. I was sitting on the couch in my living room, and I was toning. I was just doing one note, and then I would go up another level and do another note, just going like this. That's all I was doing for as long as, and I just wanted to do a warm up and connection. And I was doing that for about 20 minutes. About 10 minutes in, my daughter's friend looked over at my daughter, and I saw her glance at her and then just burst out laughing. And I'm like, what happened? So I asked her. And she said that she saw my aura completely change when I was doing this toning. And that's the thing that it does for us. Like, she said that it just, all of a sudden it was dancing like all over the place like this in these colors. I forget what colors she said. And then she said, as soon as you stopped, it just dropped and it went back to your usual colors. So it was just fascinating to me. And, like, we know so little about our power. We know so little about our spirit, but we know so much. We just don't listen and don't really pay attention in that way as much as we could, right? But when we do, then we can connect to that power and spirit. And here's the cool thing too. When you do that, then the people that are listening to you get that connection too. They get to feel it. They might not even know what it is, but they will feel it. So, and that's the difference between, like, if you're doing a sales call, for example, which I used to hate doing, and I used to circle the phone and like avoid it like the plague. And instead of doing that, if you're doing this, which is what I taught myself to do instead, then when you're on a sales call, then the person is going to feel held. They're going to feel like you care, right? Like you're here for them, instead of like you're nervous trying to figure out if you can get them as a customer, right? So it's a really, and you can do this in your writing, in everything that you're doing. You can do this in everything. Just take some breaths before you start. Sound your voice. So so I'm going to look in the chat now and see if this is like, I love doing this because I know how powerful it is, and I've been doing it for all these years, and it's taken me so many beautiful places. So let me see. Unclear on what to offer. Yep, that's something. and I know, so many ideas and capabilities. So I can whip you through a real quick one for this. This is something I used to teach my clients when I was doing business coaching for a while. What you can do is so I don't like to-do lists. I hate them, actually. So I do something different instead of to-do lists, but these to-do lists are the only ones I use. Your love to-do list and your easy to-do list. Okay? one on each side of the paper, or maybe it's one paper and then another. Yeah, and until you can't write no more. And I know that was terrible grammar, whatever. I'm an English major when I heard it, and it's like I don't care. Um, but when you do this, when you write down these lists, and you can add to them and you can change it as you need to, but when you get those down, then you want to see where are the intersections. Some of those things are going to be love to do and easy to do, and some of them aren't. Right? I mean, it's easy for me to do the dishes. Do I always love to do them? you know, so there's things that you may love to do that are not that easy to do as well. You know, I'd love to take a vacation, but I can't because I can't leave. So there's things that are easy to do, like, oh well, I've been doing this all the time, like this is, and then that's probably the thing that people should be paying you for. If it's really easy and you're always doing it and you love to do it and it's fun to do, right? This is how you can really hone in on your purpose. That love to do and easy to do list, when you find that those things that intersect, right? Then you're going to find that in there is your purpose. Somewhere in there is sort of the kernel, the seed of your purpose. And then you go to your spirit with that, right? So you make sure you're breathing into your belly when you're writing that list too. So that will help to instead of figuring that out. That's one of my triggers, is when I hear the words figuring it out come out of my mouth or in my head. Then I know I'm in my head, right? So it's not about figuring it out. It's I like to talk about feeling your way through, or feeling into things, as opposed to thinking about it. Yeah, let your body help you there, because it will. Your intuition lives there. So so it feels like expressing the power of my voice and gifts through business. And the other thing is, you will be expressing the power of your voice and gifts to your business in lots of ways. So you can do that through all of these other things too. Your services or products, your marketing, your sales, your pitches, your emails, your social media, all of it, right? Like, you can put your voice in it's good to put your voice in all of that, because then people are going to know who you are. And like, the people who then you want to work with will be the ones that come to you. That's the other piece of it. Yeah. So, okay. So hopefully that helps. And I see something else here too. Okay. So expressing the full power of my voice and allowing myself to be fully seen. Yeah. I hold back. Yeah. Totally get that. Totally get that. And so expressing the full power of your voice takes practice. And, I've been doing this since I was a little kid. And it took me still till I was 17 to actually be seen, because nobody knew I could sing except my best friend. That's it. My brother did, because he caught me once in the basement doing it and made fun of me. And that didn't help, but brothers be brothers. But that was for me to get on stage when I was 17. That was the time when I and I still was holding back. There was a lot I was still holding back. And that's okay, because we'll get through the different stages of our lives and businesses that we need to. But that was in the 80s when I did that, and I'm a different person now, right? My voice is different now too. My gifts are more expanded. So it's just, where do you start? And we can start anytime, wherever you are. So what gets in the way though, what's holding you back, you're going to feel it here in your throat. You're going to feel it in probably your belly and in your heart too, because that's your whole, what I call your sacred feminine success path. That's what that is. And so without that in kind of, if you get all those things kind of aligned and working together, then that's what that is. And so it's practice. And one way you can practice is mirror work, looking into the mirror and doing a sales conversation with yourself, for example. I did that. And it really helped. And it was really good, because you can see what's going on with yourself too. But yeah, the stuff that holds us back from being fully seen, that's a big question too. Because I know for me, there's a lot of reasons I wouldn't want to be seen. And I've developed a really good invisibility cloak over the years because of being bullied, for example, as a child, and racism and things like that. So um, things can add up over the years sometimes, and then get in the way, right? Of us being fully seen, and it's sort of like this split. Like we really, really, really want to be seen, but we're really terrified of being seen. So, you know, and and I just had this experience of really being fully seen, and it was just amazing to me to have that feeling, right? Every time that doesn't it feel good when people really fully see you? And you can practice that too by just sharing your voice with people who you already trust, and let yourself be a little more seen with them than you would normally. Just just step it up a little bit. Baby steps. And at the same time, one of the things I like to do if I'm feeling scared, or if I'm feeling really stressed out or worried or whatever it is I will tell myself, and I'll only tell myself this when it's true, and I'll say, in this moment, in this space, I am safe. In this moment, in this space, I am safe. And if you tell yourself that a few times right now, like, just notice what your nervous system does, only if it's true. Because I know we're not all in the same situations. So we don't want to lie to our nervous systems. We want to tell them the truth. Because they support us. So, and then see how you feel if you can tell yourself that, and then look around. Well, I actually am safe. I'm safe in this moment. I'm safe in this space, yeah? In this moment, in this space, I am safe. Yeah. Yeah, what gets in the way for me is such a big question. It's true. It is a big question. But the thing is, when you unwind and get down to the bottom of it, it's all going to come down to some kind of grief or trauma, some kind of experience that made you feel like you don't have a voice, made you maybe feel silenced. I have a whole chapter in my program about that. It's because we can also take control of silence. We can take control of that. And there's other ways to use it, but we as women, a lot of times, and non-binary folks, are silenced. Like, that happens. And really, on a systemic level, we are silenced. Absolutely. Is why I'm really grateful for CanWCC. To have organizations like this is really, really important. So yeah, so I'm just checking what else is here. Lately, I've been finding it hard to focus on work. Leaves me feeling like I'm not getting much done. Same time, spending so if you're spending lots of time loving your dogs and your garden and having great naps, well, not maybe even the great nap, have the great naps, but what I'm going to say about loving the dogs and your garden is, why can't you focus on work while you're doing that? Or why can't you use that? Maybe you can use that as a catalyst to do that, to do the other stuff. I get to go garden right now, and then I'm going to come back in, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to garden again. Or I'm going to take my dogs for a walk. Maybe an extra long walk. Like, reward yourself for doing that. But when you're loving up your dogs, like, and you're doing stuff like the garden, right? Those are probably going to be on your love to do easy to do list. And to go back to those two lists are really great for when you're feeling down, when you're feeling lost and you don't know what to do. Those are really great to come back to, because then that's what's going to lift you up. That's what's going to remind you again of who you are and what you love, right? And that's important too. Yeah, finding a balance. Finding a balance is, as a lot of coaches would say, balance is schmelance, but also we can. There's a sort of a chaotic sense of balance that entrepreneurs, we can come up with that. We can. And there's, I won't get into that, but I have medicine wheel teachings about that. Like, we can do that. So it's possible. And unproductive and disorganized, yeah. Welcome to being an entrepreneur. But there's ways you can do that too still. So let's see here. And your mind is blown. Woohoo! Can you describe more about how you take it to spirit and feel into things? Yeah, breathe into your belly. Really, really breathe into your belly. And that's it. And notice what's happening when you do, because a lot of times you're going to probably find you're really tight. Maybe you're not breathing very much, and if you just give yourself a few minutes to breathe and come back down into your body, right? Most of the time we're like running around trying to be productive and all that. But when you're trying, you're not. It's like, do not try. What does Yoda say? Don't try, do. It's about that. But it's really about the being too. It's about the being, and the being can lead to the doing. Because if you're being with your breath, and if you're being with your body, with your spirit, with your heart, right? Then what's going to come out of that is going to be real, instead of some manufactured stuff that you thought you should do, right? So yeah, so that's what I mean. And it's also, I am a spiritual person, have been all my life, and so that's just sort of part of things too. That's just the way it is. Um, so I am noticing we have just this went through, and I was hoping to let you ask questions and everything else. I mean, okay, so you just signed up for, oh, awesome. Yeah, I have some events coming up. So I really would love to do more with you, and maybe I'll do like one of these again. I don't know, at some point. But the story I grew up with is, if I speak up, if I do well, others will be mad at me. Ah, yeah, that's and questions of belonging. I can relate to all of those, and I bet you a lot of the people here can too. And yeah, and that that's coming from somewhere where that actually happened, or where an ancestor did that and it actually happened. So that can happen too, and kind of slow us down. And that's where I really get in deep into spirit, because that's where I go into what I call MSH mode, which is medicine song healing mode, and I channel song, and then I do energy healing for people and find out things, and then we talk about it. So that's kind of my work, and how I work, whether it's with entrepreneurs or with the women who are just going through things in their lives with major transitions and things like that. Yeah, and the world is kind of really good at making women feel like we don't belong. So, um, thankfully, even though I didn't grow up with my heritage, my maternal grandmother, my paternal grandmother has been hanging around here with me since the 90s when I met her in spirit. And she's given me a song too. So which is wonderful. Um, yeah, so relating to being terrified of, yeah, exactly. And you'll totally shrink and hide to avoid it. So notice that. Notice what happens in your body. This is how you can come back to you. First of all, breathe, right? When that's happening, if you're terrified of people being mad at you in a specific situation, just notice it, and don't beat yourself up for shrinking or whatever you're doing to avoid it. That's just parts of you protecting you, right? And we beat ourselves up far too much already. We were taught to do that by the media, basically. So we don't. How about we just don't, right? Um, but I know it's not easy to do that. But when you notice yourself doing it, don't beat yourself up for beating yourself up, right? Just don't do that. But sit with it and just notice what's happening. Because if you can find whatever that is, like I was saying earlier, if it's that, oh, I start feeling really hot and angry when this person, when I feel like they're going to be mad at me, or oh, I get butterflies in my stomach, like just notice whatever it is that happens, because then you can stop it. You can become aware, which is the first step, and then you can stop it. And it might take some practice and some time, and you might slip up with, oh no, this person, or that situation, it's okay, because we're all on a learning journey. That's all this is. This whole thing is just a big old learning journey, right? Yeah. So, how are we doing for time, Jenna? I'm like, I thought it was 90 minutes and I have it in my calendar for 60.
Yeah, it's a 60-minute.
Okay.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm getting so much from what you're sharing, and I just am so grateful that you brought this all to us today.
Thank you. Okay, so in lieu of a traveling song, I am going to do a very short prayer at the end, but I'm also going to just whip through and see if there's any. I know there's, yeah, okay. So I didn't do this yet, so I'll throw my contact in the chat too. And then if you want to chat with me, we can have a no pressure chat. If you're interested in working with me or you're curious about these things, um, that's my contact there. I am on Facebook and Instagram, but the reason I'm not putting that out there is because I'm actually getting rid of my presence there. I'm not going to be really using it very much. Very toxic. So, yeah. So, but I want to thank the Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce for providing this space for all of us and this event, and for its ongoing commitment to creating spaces where diverse women identifying and non-binary entrepreneurs can really thrive and to learn and connect. So, yeah, and I saw one more thing, and I'm like, I want to get to that, and I want to see. I was hoping to do a little bit more, but yeah, um, this is great. Okay, there's where I was there. The story I grew up with. If I if I speak up, if I do well, others will be right. That's where I was there. So no, okay. There, I don't see any other questions, and that's okay. I was hoping to let y'all talk, but here's what I want you to do for homework then. I want you to go talk to somebody, or call somebody up, but I want you to talk to somebody who's maybe a little outside your comfort zone. And when you do, before you even do any talking at all, what are you doing first? What's step 0? Tell me in the chat what's step 0. Exactly. I see the fingers pointing. Exactly. Yes. Breathe into your belly, right? Connect with you and notice if you're spiraling, if you're coming out here into anxiety land. Breathe again. Get into your belly. Yeah. All right. And I have ongoing events. So you feel free to connect with me there. Most of my events right now are for COVID conscious women and non-binary folks, but not all of them. So there's one coming up that isn't on my website yet. It's June 20th. It's hosted by another organization, and once it gets up on my website, you'll see it there. And once a month, we had to move the Minwashin Lodge one, but we have another women's drumming circle coming up, drumming and mindfulness. And so I do a lot of find your voice teachings in there too. Hint, hint. So if you want, you can come there and ask me questions too, because we go around the circle like that. So yes, just breathe. That's the big thing. Breathe into your belly, because that's your womb space. That's your creative, your passion, your sacred fire is in there. That's you in there. Your spirit is in there. We breathe into there. We have all the power we need. So, miigwech, hi hi. Nas well. Thank you to all, including all of our ancestors, and including CanWCC, Canadian Women's Chamber of Commerce. And, go sign up. Go join us if you're not a member already. It's a pretty awesome group. Just sign up. And if you can't do it right away, like there's you can sign up. Well, I guess you already signed up for free to get in here. So I'm so glad to see you all today, and I hope you've enjoyed and that we can connect again. And just lots of love to all of you. It is a very weird time we're living in. Never forget you have that power, and all it takes is that breath.